Hi, and welcome back to the Cannabis Sommelier. I'm your host, Andrew Freedman. Thanks for joining me for another episode of Cannabis and Wine Pairings. Today, I have a wonderful strain that went through a lot of controversy in recent, and wonderful Italian wine with a lot of history that I'm excited to talk about. So let's dive into the wine first. I chose a Chianti Classico Riserva from Fattoria Di Petroio, and I'll talk about it while I open it. So the hardest part, I guess, with Italian wine labels is really just understanding them. So Fattoria Di Petroio is the house name, Lenzi is the family name, Chianti Classico, meaning it came from the Chianti Classico region, and Riserva, dictating how much oak aging and bottle aging it had. So Riserva has to see 2 years minimum, and then at least 3 months in the bottle before it can be released onto market. Now with the Chianti Classico, it's interesting. You may wonder what's the difference between Chianti and Chianti Classico. Chianti Classico comes from the original region in Tuscany, and this specific vineyard site is right in between Siena and Florence. Anyways, in 1996, there's a little bit of controversy with Chianti and people putting the name Chianti on it that really weren't making Chianti. In the Classico region, you have to have at least 75% or 85% Sangiovese grapes. It also goes through quite rigorous testing, and there's a lot of safeguards. So DOCG is for the Denominazione Origin Controllata Garantita. So just some extra rules and regulations, how much harvest you can have according to the size of your vineyard. And then the Chianti Classico region. So for both these things, you have to pass rigorous lab testing and tipsicity tasting to make sure that the wine you are presenting is indicative of the Chianti Classico region. So that's what this red rooster seal is, the Chianti Classico seal. This is a Riserva 2010 vintage. Nice dark ruby. Not showing very much garnet at all on the sides. Still looking quite young, even though it's 8 years old. And smelling quite young and vibrant too. Ripe cherry, more stewed strawberry. Definitely some earthiness, that hay and grass, barnyard characteristics. It's 100% Sangiovese, done in small oak barrels. There's a little bit of that cinnamon, clove, nutmeg, a little bit of other baking spices. It's really quite appealing, and it's smelling quite young. It can definitely hang for a while. On the palate, tart cherry, a little bit of that stewed strawberry, a little bit of a rusty iron characteristic, very, very appealing oak treatment, very balanced. The acidity is high to make my cheeks work. It's peaking. It tastes exactly like a good Sangiovese should. Wonderful, nice long finish too. So I thought today I would pair it with something that was a little bit kind of earthy, musty, and the strain I ended up deciding was GG4, formerly known as Gorilla Glue number 4. So, you know, very infamous strain, won 2 cannabis cups in a row. I believe it's Chocolate Diesel, Sour Dub, and Chem Sister. So Chem Sister just being a chem dog, sativa dominant chem dog. And the Chocolate Diesel being Sour Diesel and Chocolate Thai. Very loud as I take it out of the package. Perfect. So I have taken tasting notes of this before. And it smells exactly the same. very musty, like a fresh spring hike as you're breaking through the old dead foliage. Very distinct gassy aroma. This sourness that's indicative of like freshly squeezed lime. Maybe lemongrass, rosemary. Lots of very appealing like Italian baking spices, which is interesting that I chose to pair with an Italian wine. Maybe as well as like a lemon chiffon. Really wonderful. Let's see how they smell together. To the wine, it definitely just highlights the bright cherry characteristic, the tart cherry characteristic. And when I go from the wine to the extract, it's really highlighting those fresh green herbs that I was smelling. Lemongrass, rosemary, maybe even basil as well. Definitely basil. Very interesting. Well, let's see how they pair on the palate. I'm sure it will be an experience, nonetheless. Very nice, saucy consistency. Terpy. Lots of visible terps. Here's a dab. My niche glass tube on the D now. Very handsome tasting extract. It tastes like an old man's cologne. Sandalwood, fresh tobacco, rosemary again. That kind of fresh herby basilness. Sour, lime skin, lime zest. You know, honestly, not the best pairing. On the palate, it kind of highlights the cherry, but to be honest, kind of makes the wine taste limey and salty and not overly appealing. So that one's a fail. I had to have a fail finally, and fortunately it's this. The wine is fantastic. The extract separately is fantastic. Together, their terpenes do not mix. So I'm not going to suggest well, you know, if I was going to drink the wine with some food, you know, I'd be thinking about stew, game, beef, nice steak, anything like that. Maybe some brisket as well. And the extract, I'm probably going to go live on Instagram with and play around with a few other wines and beers and see what happens. So, thanks for joining in. Don't pair Chianti Classico with GG4. Hope you like, comment, share, and subscribe, and keep learning along with me. Cheers, until next time.